So today we're going to be ranking every single UFC champion from worst to best. This is my opinion, but this one right here, Jon Jones is the worst champion right now the UFC have. Non-negotiable. The other ones on this list are pretty negotiable, you know what I mean? You might disagree with some of my takes when I get onto them, but I think everyone as a collective can agree this guy's work as heavyweight champion has been absolutely awful. It's been terrible. I don't really have anything nice to say about Jon Jones' heavyweight run, unless he fights Tom Aspinall and beats him. Then that's something. But right now, the guy's coming off a win over Stipe Miocic at UFC 309. Stipe, former champion, obviously arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time in terms of MMA, but the guy was ranked number 9 when Jones fought him, was coming off like a 4 year layoff, and the fight before the layoff he got flatline KO'd by Ngannou, the guy that Jon Jones was actively ducking, if we're being honest. And he does have a win over Ciryl Gane. I think Ciryl Gane is a bit overhated in my opinion. I don't think he's as bad, or I don't think he's shit like everyone makes him out to be. I think he is really good. I think he is definitely one of the best heavyweights in MMA right now. Obviously, he is coming off that robbery win over Volkov, but Ciryl Gane is good. Ciryl Gane arguably beat Ngannou, if we're going to be honest. But yeah, Jon Jones, his work as heavyweight champion, the fact he's stalling this division, holding it up, not fighting the number 1 contender, he's just pissing about. He is easily the worst champion. I was about to say the worst champion ever in UFC history. His heavyweight run might actually be one of the worst title reigns ever. When you think of it, it's so bad. It's so bad. Because when you look at this here, right, and he's not the most active either. He fought once in 2024, once in 2023, and then you go into his light heavyweight run, but we'll not talk about that. We'll talk about his heavyweight run, right? This one right here, the Stipe Miocic matchup. Now, they were meant to fight November 2023, I believe. That's then whenever Tom Aspinall stepped in to fight Sergey Pavlovich and won the interim title. So then, after Tom Aspinall won the interim title, instantly it should have been Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall then, but Jon Jones came back from an injury and basically just, I don't know what he done, but the UFC were just held at gunpoint to make this matchup. It wasn't even gunpoint because Dana White wanted to make this matchup, which doesn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense, and still to this day, doesn't make any sense. As a champion, as a heavyweight champion, this guy is dirt. Moving on up the list, we've got Magomed Ankalaev. Look, this one might be a bit harsh because the guy is just a newly crowned champion after absolutely schooling, fraud checking Alex Pereira at UFC 313. But in all seriousness, that fight was scored 3-2 either way. I don't know how people scored that fight 4-1. It doesn't make sense to me. It's 3-2 in my opinion, and we need to see the rematch. But yeah, he's just became a champion, so I can't really put him higher up on this list. Now, his work before coming champion, he's got a lot of really good wins in the light heavyweight division. He's on a crazy win streak. I think he's on a 13 fight win streak right now. But right now he's got wins over Alex Pereira, Rakic, Johnny Walker, Anthony Smith, who's still somehow ranked inside the top 15. You've got Nikita Krylov in there, and you've got Volkan Oezdemir, who's also ranked inside the top 10. So 6 ranked wins for Magomed Ankalaev currently out of the current top 15. So he's not that active either, so it doesn't really fill me with much confidence of this guy being champion. But Jon Jones is still worse than him, 100%. Ankalaev, he's a new champion, so let's give him a bit of time. But I don't really have much faith in him, and I think in a year's time, if he is still champion, God forbid, he would still be around this place, to be honest. Moving on up, look, you might not want me to count this, but Tom Aspinall, this guy is arguably the undisputed heavyweight champion, let's just be honest. The work he has done, he's defended, he's got the same amount of title defenses in the heavyweight division as Jon Jones. He defended his interim heavyweight title against Curtis Blaydes. When you think of the top 10, Tom Aspinall's already beaten half of them. Curtis Blaydes, Tybura, Volkov, which the fact that he finished him in round 1 is insane. Sergey Spivak, and you've got the KO over Sergey Pavlovich. Again, this guy is arguably the undisputed heavyweight champion. He deserves that crown with the work that he has done. He's basically cleared out the heavyweight division. He is waiting on his matchup against Jon Jones. Will it ever happen? Fingers crossed. Moving on up the list, we've got Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad, the welterweight champion. Obviously, Belal Muhammad's title reign hasn't really kicked off yet, if we're being honest. He doesn't have pedal defense yet. He was meant to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov at UFC 310, but had to pull out due to an injury. I think he had like a bone infection or something like that. I remember the photos going around on Twitter. It was disgusting. But Belal Muhammad has done a lot of really good work in the UFC's welterweight division. He has beaten Leon Edwards, who, I'm going to hold my hands up. I, at one point in time, was so confident in sharing the take that I thought Leon Edwards was going to become the greatest UFC welterweight of all time.
Bruh.
And I would have died on that hill. I'm going to be honest. That was one of my takes. Might be one of the worst takes of all time. You can let me know in the comments. But the win against Leon Edwards, great win. Leon Edwards was a pound for pounder at the time, obviously coming off two big wins over Prime Kamaru Usman. Yes, Prime. You can't just say Usman wasn't in his prime when Leon fought him because Leon beat him. Doesn't make sense. Before the second fight between Usman and Leon, everyone was getting on like Usman was going to be the greatest welterweight of all time. I was also one of those people saying that he was better than GSP, blah blah blah, and then as soon as he lost to Leon, it's like, yeah, he's so washed, but he's washed. You know what I mean? So the Leon Edwards, great win. He was a pound for pounder. Belal Muhammad dunked Leon on his head. He's got the Gilbert Burns win, which might sound not that great now, but at the time was really good. I think Gilbert Burns was still ranked inside the top 5 when Belal Muhammad fought him, and Belal Muhammad took that fight on short notice. He's got the Sean Brady win. Yes, Belal Muhammad does have stoppage victories in his career. He stopped Sean Brady, which is insane. Sean Brady, that's a great win, by the way. And then you've got other wins like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Obviously, he got KO'd by Jeff Neal. He is set to take on JDM at UFC 315. I'm looking forward to that matchup. I have just got over the pain of spending my life savings on getting a ticket to UFC London to see Leon Edwards, JDM. Just for 4 weeks out from the event, they fucking change it to Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. But yeah, I'm looking forward to him versus JDM. I actually think JDM is going to knock him out, to be honest. But Belal Muhammad, we need to see what his title reign is going to be like. Obviously, if I think JDM is going to beat him, he's not going to have a very good title reign, if we're being honest. Moving on up, Ilia Topuria. Look, I would want to have this guy higher. I'm a big Ilia Topuria fan. He's got the 2 best back-to-back wins in UFC history, beating Volkanovski by KO, the greatest featherweight of all time, and then KO on Max Holloway, arguably the second greatest UFC featherweight of all time. Do not say Jose Aldo. Aldo is not even top 3 featherweights of all time, if we're being honest. But his title reign, short and sweet. The guy's already given up the belt. He is technically still the champion until Volkanovski fights Diego Lopez, but that's why he's that low. A lot more work was there for Ilia Topuria to do before he would become the greatest featherweight of all time, but he's cut it short. He's chasing greatness. He's going to fight Ilia Topuria. Hopefully, that's the fight I want to see next. That's why he's here. His title reign was short. Can't have him any higher. Moving on, we've got Dricus du Plessis, the middleweight champion. Very, very fun fighter to watch. Arguably one of the most fun fighters that the UFC have right now on their roster. Dricus du Plessis, obviously coming off a win over Sean Strickland in the rematch. He beat the second greatest UFC middleweight of all time in Israel Adesanya before that, and then obviously he won the belt of Sean Strickland. Again, a lot of work to be done there for Dricus du Plessis, coming off 2 really good wins, and before that he beat Robert Whittaker. So his win streak that he's on right now is absolutely insane, but I just think the other 3 guys above him, you have probably picked up who they are by now. I just think they're better. I just think they've done more as champion, to be honest. Moving on up, we've got Pantoja. This guy is on Demetrius Johnson's tail for becoming greatest UFC flyweight of all time. And before you ask me how is that so, the guy's competing in a flyweight division that is just leaps and bounds better than when Demetrius Johnson was competing in it. But again, this guy's kind of similar to Tom Aspinall. He has cleared out like majority of his division. Kai Asakura, ranked opponent. Steve Ercik, ranked opponent. Brandon Royval beat him multiple times. Ranked opponent. Alex Perez, he's ranked. He's beat Moreno. He's beat Manel Cap. You know what I mean? He's beaten more than half of the UFC's top 10. Well, Kai Asakura actually isn't ranked inside the top 10, but you know what I'm saying. This guy's cleared out a large portion of his division. He's a dominant champion as well. He's easily beaten these guys. You know, he's not going tooth and nail with them. I know some people like to say the Steve Ercik matchup was close. Rewatch it. Pantoja clearly wins it. And He's fairly active. That's why he's there. Moving on up, we've got Merab. Look, is Merab the most fun fighter to watch? No, although his last fight against Umar was a fun fight. Let's stop pretending it wasn't. But Merab, the work he's done in the bantamweight division as a whole, beating Sean O'Malley, beating Jose Aldo, beating Henry Cejudo. He's also beaten... Who else has he beaten here? Did I say Petr Yan? Wait, Cejudo, O'Malley, Yan, Aldo, Umar's a good win. So those are 5 ranked opponents already. And all those guys, bar Aldo, are ranked inside the top 10, I believe. Aldo is the only guy outside of that. He's also active as well. He beat Sean O'Malley in September, went right back in there in January to face Umar, even though the guy was injured. Yes, Merab was injured going into that matchup. And he's also looking to make a turnaround here where he's going to fight at UFC 316, which I believe will take place in June. So you've got January, February, March, April, May, June. So this guy's already going to have 3 fights, all being well. That there is why he is this high up on this list. He's active. The work he's done in his division, I mean, maybe because he done all that work when he wasn't champion, but I still feel like it has to count for something. Merab is number 2, and the best champion the UFC have right now is Islam Makhachev. Might not be as active as what Merab is, but the run this guy's on, the level of opponents he's beaten: Oliveira, Volkanovski twice, Dustin Poirier, Moicano was ranked as well. He's got 2 wins over the pound for pound number 1 at the time he fought him in Volkanovski. Volk was pound for pound number 1 when he fought him back to back times. Charles Oliveira as well, great win. Arman Sarukian, he beat him as well way back when. This guy's just the best champion we've got, in my opinion. Yeah? So let me know your opinions in the comments below. Let me know what way you would rank these UFC champions. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.